So we're going to be talking about the topic of the right style. Each leader has a unique communication style, a way in which you interact and exchange information with others. I'll talk about 4 basic communication styles, and they are passive aggressive, and assertive. So it's important to understand each communication style and why leaders use them. For me personally, I enjoy being assertive, as I find it very effective because it incorporates the best aspects of all the styles. So let's break down these 4 communication styles to better understand the characteristics of each one and what makes them unique. So let's start off with the passive communicators. So passive communicators, they lack outward communication, which often leads to misunderstanding, anger buildup, or even resentment. Passive communicators show the body language of lacking eye contact, poor body posture, and they have the inability to say no. So these communicators act in a way that state, people are never going to understand my feelings. So with the passive communicators, these individuals who use this communication style, they often let others express themselves freely, but they fail to express their own needs or feelings of themselves. I'm sure you've come across with some of those communicating styles. And let's move on to the aggressive communicator style. When someone communicates in an aggressive manner, you'll hear it, you'll see it, and you may even feel it. Because this particular style emphasizes on speaking loud. They have a demanding voice and they maintain intense eye contact. They can be sometimes dominating and controlling others by blaming, intimidating, criticizing, threatening, or even attacking them, and among other crazy traits. So the aggressive style often issues command. That's what they're known for. They like to issue commands. They ask questions rudely and they fail to listen to other people's needs. They can also be classified as leaders, and they can actually command respect from their audiences by using fear. Some example phrases of what this style would use would be, "I'm right and you're wrong," or "I'll get my way no matter what," or you probably heard this one, "It's all your fault." So let's move on to the passive aggressive communication style. You'll find people with this style muttering to themselves rather than actually confronting a person or issue. It's actually difficult for them to acknowledge their anger, and their use of facial expressions, it doesn't match with how they feel, and sometimes they would even deny that there is a problem. So their body language usually communicates with a lack of communication with others, and they are the person that is likely to give someone a silent treatment. They would be the person to spread a rumor behind other people's backs, or they would be the person that actually tries to sabotage other people. So these people are aware of their needs, and they are often cooperative, but they silently have trouble voicing their needs. And an example phrase of what a passive aggressive style might say is, "Oh, that's fine with me, but don't be surprised if someone else gets mad." Now, let's move on to the most effective communication style, which is the assertive type. This style accentuates open communication without being overbearing. Assertive communicators are able to express their own needs, desires, ideas, and feelings while also considering other people's needs, and they take other people into account. So this style of communication aims for both sides to win in a situation, which balances one's rights with the rights of others. The key is using I statements, such as, "I feel frustrated when you are late to a meeting." So that indicates ownership of feelings and behaviors, but it doesn't necessarily blame the other person. Example phrases of someone who has this assertive style is something that they would say is, "We are equally entitled to express ourselves respectfully to one another." So, how do you become an assertive communicator, you say? Firstly, you must value yourself and your rights. Develop a strong understanding of yourself, your team, and your organization. You have to understand how others communicate, and that is the key to getting your message across to them. You must be direct about what you need, want, feel, and believe in a way that it is also respectful for others and the viewpoints of others. So aim for honest and open communication at all times so that both parties are able to express themselves freely. One thing to keep in mind is that you can't control other people's behaviors. So if things ever get heated, which they will, you must remain calm and measured no matter how intense it gets. But think of it this way: as long as you are respectful and you're not violating anyone's needs, then you have the right to say or do what you want. So, moving forward, let's use the example of being the bearer of bad news to employees once again. You also have to choose your moment and your communication styles. Ask yourself, how are you going to approach it? Would you be the person that says nothing to anyone other than those that receives the bad news? Are you going to email everyone? Or are you going to send out an email to make a date for an important meeting? And once everyone is gathered, how are you going to announce the news? Are you going to just carelessly announce that there are going to be layoffs or redundancies and just leave it at that? Or are you actually going to explain the reasonings behind the decision? And what are the next steps going to be? And what do you think is going to happen moving forward? These are all questions that you need to consider. So, the ability to listen is just as important to a leader as it is to speak. Are you going to be able to give the staff a chance to speak up about the redundancies, or actually speak up about the situation as a whole? Or are you going to leave it to your managers to do all that? And once the meeting commences, are you going to have a follow-up steps and options? Will you personally speak to each person that is being redundant, or are you just going to let your hiring managers deal with it? Are employees going to be given notice? And how about to the employees being made redundant? Is one word of appreciation of their past efforts going to be mentioned or said? Sometimes communication, for the good or ill, comes from actually not saying anything at all. A worker who has been made redundant, who has not been given clear reasons or even thanked, is likely to feel a bit more disgruntled than one who is left feeling like a human being.